All right, we got some big news. We got some hair news. We got some Pro Bowl news, and we got some free agency news and some draft news. It is SNL. Offseason is upon us, and the most popular topic right now among Houston Texans fans, CJ Stroud has cut his hair.
Yeah. CJ Stroud has made a significant transformation to how he looks. This is from a pastor in California's Instagram account, and CJ has got a whole lot less hair than he used to have based on this picture. I mean, that is a significant hair transformation from CJ Stroud. I mean, I've had some rough moments in my professional life, but I've never had to go just get rid of all my hair after it.
That's a pretty it's got to feel pretty good for him. He's got to feel like a completely new man. It might actually like lower the concussion chances too. I'm just kidding. But yeah, there you go. CJ Stroud, a new man, looks refreshed. And we also get the news from the Alpha yesterday.
Hey, bro.
I don't know. Hold on.
Here.
Does he look refreshed in this picture?
Yeah, it looks like he's chilling, man. He looks pure. He looks like he's chilling there.
Okay.
Maybe not. Who knows?
All right.
But new year, new him. But we got the news from the Alpha yesterday that CJ Stroud turned down the Pro Bowl opportunity. What?
Him and about 15 other quarterbacks in the AFC.
What did you make of this? Because I talked about this last night. What did you make of this whole report that CJ Stroud turned down the Pro Bowl opportunity?
I mean, there was a 0% chance he was going to go play fake pretend football after the performance that he had in that game against the New England Patriots. The next time he steps on the field will be for OTAs or training camp, and the next game he plays in will be that little stretch in the second preseason game where they let him play. Like, he wasn't going to go out there after a terrible performance like that and try to pretend like, oh yeah, it's cool to be a Pro Bowler and hang out with a bunch of the guys from the defense who he screwed. Yeah, he wasn't doing that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it was like no kidding that he turned it down. Like, it was obvious. Like, Joe Flacco's in it, and so is Shedeur Sanders, so it was obvious. Also, like, if I were CJ Stroud, I wouldn't want to be out and about, like, having to relive this next season. I know preparations for next season was like the terminology used. I think it's just as much putting last season behind him, getting some rest, and getting away from things. So I think it's good. It's not like he's like in the lab or like 100% focused. I think this is like a recharge and a step away type of thing. But for me, like, it's an obvious choice by CJ Stroud. I have no issue with it. I didn't make a lot of it. I will say, like, I don't think it necessarily helps him, like, the story. And I'm not saying that should be that. Like, it's not like there's like any positive or negative PR that comes with the story that CJ Stroud stepped away from the Pro Bowl.
There was no win to go to the Pro Bowl. There's nothing positive that could come out of the Pro Bowl going for CJ Stroud. None. No positives.
Would agree. On the chat right off the top, the Man Beast says, thoughts, how we feeling about CJ cutting his hair? Cool. I mean, it's got a different change, whatever. No problem. He's doing his thing.
New man, new direction. Maybe it'll let him absorb more information.
Now, will he rock the beanie still?
Perhaps. I think was that more of a fashion thing, or was that more of a keep the hair where it needed to be thing?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I wouldn't either. He's got to feel like a new man, though. So we'll see. See how that goes.
I mean, as far as steps he could take in the offseason that we've seen, don't go to the Pro Bowl. Big positive. I think that's a plus for me. New haircut, I think, is a positive. That's a plus. So CJ Stroud headed in the right direction this offseason so far.
Changes. Speaking of the offseason, we need the diehards there. You a lot of you draft nerds, you love gatherings in season. A lot of you said, are we still going to do this in the offseason? The answer is yes. Spanky's is still partnering with SNL. And February 20th, we will have the SNL NFL Combine send-off. We will be live at the NFL Combine, thanks to Spanky's and a few others. The 3rd through the 27th. But before that, we're going to have a draft gathering. We might do our first mock draft there. We're going to have plenty to give away. And we want you at Spanky's. By the way, today's pasta day, $6.50 lasagna, spaghetti, Alfredo, all of it. Best deal in town. The pasta is always the go-to, but we need all the diehards. We need all the nerds there. Spanky's, Friday, February 20th, the SNL Combine send-off.
Yeah, we're going to have a blast there. We'll do some really fun draft stuff, get you ready for the NFL draft. We'll even have some stuff about the other pieces of the offseasons, kind of when free agency starts to kind of creep up in everybody's minds. So we'll talk a lot about that too. It's going to be a blast. You don't want to miss it, and we'll see you there on the 20th at Spanky's.
Yep, it'll be fun. See you February 20th. All right, so Cody has a game for us, a little offseason game for us, a little deal or no deal. I also have a draft crush that I will present at the end, but it is time for the Cody Stutes installment of Texans offseason, deal or no deal.
All right, this is a very, very simple. I took a player that was on the Texans this year. I came up with a potential contract that they might be offered this offseason. Some of them might get offered that by the Texans. Some of them might get offered that by somebody else. But if it is by somebody else, would you try to match that contract, do that deal, or you look at the deal and you're like, oh, God, hell no, I'm not going to do that deal. Let's start with Ed Ingram, a popular topic amongst the potential free agents, played right guard for most of this year for the Texans. Landry, deal or no deal on Ed Ingram, 4 years, $66 million, a $16.5 million a year average annual value.
That's a no for me, dog. That's a no for me, dog. I think he might be able to go get that. Good for him. But that is a no for me, dog. I'm not buying high on Ed Ingram. Props to them for buying low and getting what they got. But 4 years, $66 million. That's a no thank you for me. Maybe I regret it, but I am saying no. Absolutely not.
It's worth noting there were some massive guard contracts signed last offseason. The average annual value at 16.5 puts him right at the 15th highest paid guard in football. He's obviously not the 15th highest paid guard in football, but guys who were roughly as talented as he were, maybe a little bit better, got $80 million in free agency last year. So yeah, it's definitely a no deal for me. And maybe I'm being a little outsized and a little too crazy with the numbers. So I wanted to give you another Ed Ingram deal. So that's deal number one. We both said no deal. Deal or no deal number two on Ed Ingram. 3 years, $30 million, $10 million a year.
Sure.
Interesting.
Sure.
I didn't expect you to say deal to this. I thought you'd continue to lean towards the churn element. But
3 years, 30, we can do that.
I mean, what this probably really turns into is probably a 2-year deal worth whatever the guaranteed money would be. So it's not actually, 330. It'd probably be like 2 years, some guaranteed money. But there's some hope that he would be even better with another year here. Cole Popovich with him all off season. I guess there's some hope that he'd be better. I feel like that first deal is going to be a lot closer to what he's going to end up trying to get. And he's probably not super interested in, sticking around for $36 million less if he's going to hit free agency.
Yeah,
okay, so
he's definitely going to check out the market. So
yeah, so I would think this about becomes my ceiling with Ed Ingram, and I probably wouldn't spend any more dollars than that. Okay, how about this for an extension? This guy isn't a free agent, but just go ahead and let's get out in front of the deal. Let's get out in front of the conversation. Extend this player, Azeez Al-Shire. How about tacking 3 years and about $44 million onto his current contract? Azeez currently makes about $12 a year, a little bit less. So it's a little bit of a boost. It puts him above some other free agents that have signed deals recently, but it puts him well below all the top numbers at the position. Would you do a little Azeez contract extension? Get him locked in for 3 more years after this upcoming one?
Here's the problem I have with this. And I don't want to be too dismissive of this because I know that there is value, but there's also a lot of wear and tear that goes on doing what Azeez Al-Shire does and playing the position that he does. And I also think that This is a insane linebacker draft. Like it is an absolutely, like, if you're talking about the ass kicking position of all ass kicking positions in this upcoming draft, it is an insane linebacker draft. So if you do this, does it then prevent you from partaking uh in the previously mentioned linebacker draft? That would kind of that would kind of make me a little bit hesitant. I do think there is potential to where D'Amico Ryans can't say no to this. And if from Azeez Al-Shire's perspective, I would completely understand him even being firm in, you know, trying to get a deal done. I'm not talking like holdout or anything, but trying to get a deal done before the season instead of playing on the final year of his contract. So I understand his point of view. I understand their point of view, but I would just hate to buy too high and sit out this badass linebacker draft that we got upcoming. But I do think this will be, I don't think it's going to be like an intense type of situation. I could see them budging, but if they do it, I would hope that it doesn't prevent them from taking a good look at this linebacking group in the draft.
See, I would do this. I would pay Al-Shire, and that probably the last year of the deal is going to be the see you later if it's not looking good, if it's not working out. And I would still draft linebackers, plural, with the idea that one of them has to replace Henry To'oTo'o, and eventually maybe one of them would be ready to replace Azeez Al-Shire in the linebacking room. I know you don't necessarily want to plan too much of a succession plan, but I would go ahead and just pay Azeez, and then I wouldn't worry about paying Henry, and I'd go dip into this linebacker draft and go get me a couple of ass kickers and just have Azeez with a whole new crop, maybe a couple of veterans that have played a little ball, and that's kind of the linebacking room after 2026. That's kind of how I'd approach it. I would do this deal because I think if he hit true free agency, he'd get a little bit more. But I think there's a nice give and take of him doing a deal early, and then the Texans taking care of him because he's D'Amico Ryans' guy, and just how useful he is to the defense as well. So might be a little worrisome at the end, the last year and a half or so, but you're trying to shore up and make sure the next couple of years are as best as they can be.
And to be clear, when I say take a linebacker, I'm talking premium. Like I'm talking first 2 day linebacker. I'm not talking about day 3. They've drafted 2 true linebackers in the D'Amico Ryans era. One of them was Jamal Hill. He was kind of a safety too. They drafted him in the 6th, and they drafted Henry To'oTo'o in 2023 in the 5th. Now, the thing that is also interesting about this, and maybe this kind of adjusts the mindset of what they may have, is I think they like Azeez Al-Shire. I think there's a lot to like about a 5th round pick that gets better every single year and is a big part of what you do. But as soon as you saw Azeez Al-Shire out, Henry To'oTo'o played his worst game. And I think Azeez Al-Shire's value was kind of magnified. Now, the question I have is, does that say, and it might be somewhere in between, but does that say more about Azeez Al-Shire, or does that say more about Henry To'oTo'o and being able to carry that load? And maybe it's kind of you look at the other linebacker and he's kind of more of a Henry To'oTo'o replacement than an Azeez Al-Shire replacement.
Yeah, that'd be my thing, is if I was trying to forecast the next few seasons, I would try to make sure Azeez is a part of that forecast, and I'd try to just improve in To'oTo'o's spot, and then just make sure I have good depth that can give me some of the stuff that Azeez gives me if Azeez isn't out there. He stayed pretty healthy this past year. He was much more dinged up 2 years ago, but you still need him out there. And if you're going to pay him, certainly you're going to want him out there. And your point about the wear and tear of the linebacker position catching up to you, it does catch up to those guys just about as fast as anything.
I do think Patrick brings up a good point. Shout out to Patrick Ding. Hope to see you at Spanky's at the combine send-off. But, I mean, Cashman was a really, really good player. Azeez is a really, really good player. So it is kind of D'Amico's specialty. So do you have to pay premium money when your coach possesses a specialty? That's another question.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I wonder if it's special because he and Azeez are kind of connected. I wonder if it's special because Azeez is a little bit better than some of the other guys, or maybe there is that D'Amico Ryans dust that he can just sprinkle on guys. But We're both closer to deal than no deal on this one, so I don't hate that. All right, this one's a little bit smaller, a bit more simple, but it's a little bit of a raise for a guy that had a pretty decent season. Deal or no deal, Landry, 1 year, $7.5 million for Sheldon Rankins.
I don't care. Like, sure. It's not, I feel like it was a nice year by Sheldon Rankins. It was a nice year 2 years ago. I think for $7.5 million, they can find someone who can come in there and make plays as well. I'm not going beyond a year with Sheldon Rankins. Like this is 100% the appropriate value. Basically, run back last year, but I don't think it's like overly critical. I think they can find another DT to fill that void if they need to. But yeah, this is about it. I could take it or leave it. I think they fall in love with guys, and I think this will probably be around what we see Sheldon Rankins sign.
He made $5.5 million last year. Obviously, he got a huge deal in Cincinnati to leave. That lasted one season. They moved on, so he's got a little left over from that. It's not like Sheldon's hurting for cash. $7.5 million is a $2 million raise. I think that's fine. You could find $2 million, and hey, one less special teams guy that you're going to cut at the end of training camp for those $2 million.
Here's my problem that I'm having with what we're saying right now is like we're talking about a bunch of defensive guys, and it's like we talked about Ingram obviously, but like we're talking about Sheldon Rankins for 7.5 last year. That's basically combined what you gave Trent Brown and Laken Tomlinson. I know Tomlinson sucked, but like at some point, let's start getting the seesaw on the end of the offense too when it comes to free agency and money spent and everything. Like you already invested. If we're just talking about the imaginary salary that we have with like each side of the rock, you already invested. How much of a bag did Danielle Hunter get for this next season? Like the extension? I mean, it was $26 million, right?
His new contract paid him like $35.6 million.
Yeah, so there you go. So I mean, like at some point, maybe start spending some bread on offense. And I'm not talking about like Ed Ingram, but maybe this is where the Linderbaum conversation comes in. Maybe instead of signing Rankins and or Ed Ingram, you just throw it all at Linderbaum and you completely rehault the offensive line.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. I think you definitely want to find some long-term solutions at the defensive tackle spot. And I'm with you. Rankins is a 1 year deal at max, and keep kicking the tires and until it becomes not financially worth it. It may not be worth it at $7.5 million. They may want to just say, hey, we thought you were good at that number last year. Do it again. And maybe he'd say yes. All right. My last one here for you. Deal or no deal, Landry. This one's got a little bit of extra to it. It's not as clean as some of these other ones. Deal or no deal. You extend Dalton Schultz for 1 year.
No.
Okay.
No. Absolutely not. Like that is a hell no. Like I like Dalton Schultz and what he did this last year. Like you could maybe talk me into running it back for one more year. Like with the remaining contract and just say that you basically franchise tagged him 3 times, but you're saying get him under contract for 2 more years?
No, he's under contract for 2026. This would be under contract for 2027.
Oh, I guess. I mean, it's still a lot, and I'm still anticipating a Dalton Schultz fall off, much like we saw last year. Although contract year Dalton Schultz is good. This would be like a combination of like, okay, is he going to fall off or is he going to get contract year Dalton Schultz? 1 more year for Dalton Schultz max, and then you have to have a long-term plan in place.
I mean, he's the reason I bring up Schultz is because he's very clearly either an extension candidate or a cut candidate based on his contract. Because like he's got a $16 million cap hit. I don't think you want to finish a whole year with Dalton Schultz as a $16 million cap hit. So, move a little bit of that money down the line, save a couple bucks to spend this year, and then you got Dalton Schultz for this year and Dalton Schultz for next year. Like, I want him to overhaul the tight end room, but you could overhaul those other 2 spots and still have Dalton for 1 more year.
Yeah, it would be nice to get a little bit more upside at the tight end position, but whatever. I mean, it was a weird contract to begin with. So
yeah, I mean, it feels like they paid quite a bit when they got him on the extension. Obviously, the very first deal was incredible. So, it's a few $1,000,000, but they're not getting that Dalton Schultz anymore. All right, so that's a no deal on Dalton Schultz.
I'm good on that. We can move on.
All right. There you go. Deal or no deal on some of the returning or not returning Texans. I guess none of them are returning. Oh, maybe the Aziz contract. Yeah.
I think fresh blood would be okay when it comes to this. So the speaking of Texas, it seems like in the Texans, it feels like Texas Tech is getting a lot of love. Like if you're listening to what people are saying, it seems like Jacob Rodriguez is the number one crush right now for Texans fans. I don't know if there's a big Tech following. I don't know if that gets generated because you and I are talking or what, or maybe people watched him play. When would Jacob Rodriguez be appropriately selected? Could you see him falling to day 3, or is there no chance?
I'd be surprised if he gets out of the 3rd round. So the end of day 2, I think is the most likely spot for him. I don't believe he's going to be a 4th rounder. I believe somebody who's got extra draft capital is going to look at the body of work from college and say, hey, maybe he's not the biggest, strongest, fastest athlete, but we watched him play really good football, and we believe he's going to do that for us. And just the ability to force turnovers and find the football, that's immediately valuable to these teams on these kickoff and punt units. So I feel like he could immediately be a special teams impact player for these teams and good linebacker depth, and then quickly turn into a linebacker that they believe in. So if he makes it out of the top 100, I would be pretty surprised when that's all said and done. And the top 100 is roughly your first 3 rounds. Of course, we'll get some comp picks announced at some point to get us past that 100 mark in the 3rd round.
Cody looking like Casper the Ghost with that gospel right there. You look like witness protection right now.
My lighting mess up?
I don't know what happened. So you're saying this is like the NNM pick?
The what?
The Nick Neiman makeup.
The Nick Neiman makeup. Yeah, I mean,
this is everything that they'd hope Nick Neiman would be.
No, I think this is toe on steroids.
Yeah, this is
because if you're drafting Jacob Rodriguez, if you're the Texans and you're drafting Jacob Rodriguez, then you're drafting him with the intent that he's a starter in 2027 and he's valuable depth in 2026.
I know that offense is kind of where I talked about investing. I think with just the ammo the Texans have on day 2, I'm confident that they can get the job done. But I got to tell you, if they get to 28 and Lee Hunter's there, I'm taking him. I said this the other day. You look at the body of work. You look at how much of an ass kicker that guy is. You imagine him by Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter and Tommy Togiai, and I don't know what opposing teams do. And I still think that there's enough assets, there's enough options and possibilities for the Texans to improve their team. But for me, I don't even think it's going to be a possibility because I think someone's going to take him. But for me, this is a no-brainer right here. Last year, we were talking about Walter Nolan and all that. This is a 100% no-brainer that if Lee Hunter is there at 28, you take him and you just get ready for day 2 and hope that you continue to do on day 2 what you've done really the last couple of years, and really for the most part, every time you've had an opportunity with D'Amico Ryans and Nick Caserio.
I love this idea because you don't only have the draft, and you don't have like you're not going to sit here and walk into 2026 and just say, hey, all these things we need to have fixed. Like, we're all betting on young guys. At some point, they're going to have veterans that at least become options to fill some of the things that are holes now in February. So you'd think that free agency fills up some of that. And you mentioned the additional draft assets. Yes, they have the 28th overall pick. That's their first rounder. They've still got 38, 59, 69, 106, and 128, all within the top 4 rounds. And that's before Caserio does any goofy moving around and maybe picks up one here or there. So, yeah, you could splurge a little bit on the defense and still go and find things on the offense. Because I know that's what a lot of people are going to look at. Well, how do you fix the offense? Where do you help the offense? There's still time. Like there's a whole day 2 and day 3 to add to the offense. And those day 2 picks, they've had a really good hit rate the past couple of seasons on those day 2 picks.
Yep. That's the beauty of it. The Lee Hunter thing, though. I mean, I don't even think it's a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen. But if it was a possibility, get the job done. People are saying, what are you going to do with the offense? Did you not hear the news? CJ Stroud cut his hair. Offense fixed. So that's what you're going to do on the offense. MVP season coming.
I do feel like there's actually a really big chance that Lee Hunter has the roller coaster prospect thing where Senior Bowl, like, oh my gosh, like he finished the season so strong. And then he had the great Senior Bowl. And then inevitably there's going to be somebody that digs into the full body of work and they find something about him that that they don't like.
Like
kind
what?
of the mood, the mentality. I think he's had some inconsistent games, and the pass rush is also inconsistent. Some people are going to view him as a non-pass rush defensive tackle, like a guy that gives you nowhere near enough on that. I don't view that because I've seen him get after the quarterback. And also it's a lot of what did you get asked to do? And sometimes it was just clog the middle so those ends can take care of their business because they had really good pass rushers.
Next to these guys, give me a guy that can clog the middle.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be. I mean, he doesn't have to be freaking Aaron Donald. He just has to be a good football player.
Yeah, the DN. Give me all of that. Every single.
Yeah, I just feel like people are going to have him real high here in February, and then by like the middle of March, people are going to be shitting on Lee Hunter, and nobody's going to know why. And it's like, well, okay, well, if he's there at 28, it's pretty easy for me. Go run it up.
Swarm.
So Rags asks, when do you draft a running back? Who? I mean, if you can get with all this said, like if there's a chance that you can get Love, then you take him. Day 2, you have to get one day 2 for me. I think especially in this draft. And who? I mean, you can look at the Penn State guys.
Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen.
Yeah, Katron Allen, Singleton. You can look in that range, but day 2 is the gold mine for me.
It's going to be a fascinating draft compared to last year's running back situation where you had multiples in the first round. You had guys go right there at the top of the second round. If that's going to happen, some guys are going to have really big draft processes to find that. Because it feels like Love's going in the first round, and then it's a bunch of who's pulling the trigger first on running back. Like who's going to make that investment? Who's going to pick from the top of tier 2 right there at the top of the second round or somewhere in the second round. Now, obviously, we know how the draft process goes. Some of these teams will meet with these guys. They'll kind of fall in love with them. But,
and also, who knows? Maybe they sign Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker or
sure.
Rico Dowdle, and then it's like, okay, maybe get one in day 3 to kind of stick in with Woody Marks. So that's the beauty of this is, we're hopping into April. There's going to be a lot that's going to happen those 2 months in between. So we'll keep our eyes peeled. But this is just kind of the early stuff. Where did we screw up on the on the decision making when it comes to the free agents? Do you agree with the Hunter? Let us know. You better be at Spanky's Friday the 20th for the Combine send-off. We're going to continue the Spanky's gatherings all year. We need the nerds to show up, the draft nerds, and we will have plenty of prizes to give away. Pasta night today at Spanky's. Might head there after this.
There you go.
I hear that pasta can help colds. God, I have a cold.
Are you going to go get a new CJ haircut?
Paulie Young says, for the love of God, stop Cody from drafting a tight end.
Not this year, Paul. They're getting a tight end this year, baby.
So Paul thinks that is that the mock draft? What mock draft machine have you been using?
I use Pro Football Focus.
Yeah, the other one, man, I like the layout, but good Lord, there's some spam and like some AK-47s coming at you, man. Like that thing. Next thing you know, I'm getting spied on by the cell phone or something like that with that Draft Network or whatever the hell it is.
They got a few pop-ups that get your way.
It's more than trying to watch porn back in the early 2000s on your mom's computer. Son, what is this?
Wait,
Robert sent it to me. I don't know what it was. Robert sent it to me.
Which side is this?
When you had to watch the trailers, like, my goodness.
Is that the NFL mock draft simulator from the mock draft database?
I don't know. Whichever one it is. Pro Football something. I don't know.
Oh, well, Pro Football Network does have a lot of the.
Jesus, yes, Pro Football Network. Yeah,
That's the one. That's the one. Pro Football Network is the one with everything that pops up. It's on the bottom too.
Dog. It's worse than back in the day.
Yep.
But we appreciate everyone for rolling through. This is a little shorter episode tonight. I'm going to take it upon myself to power rank 1 to 12 the Texans' biggest needs. We're going to play chess and checkers. I'm going to power rank 1 to 12 the Texans' biggest needs.
I'm not going to watch, and I'm going to guess that tomorrow.
Okay. Well, there you go. We'll play that. We got a lot to get into. Again, mark your calendars for the draft nerds, for the off seasons, the 20th, Spankies. Be there. We'll see you there. Sir Wags again says that's how McLean lost his Twitter account. Spam. I almost got yesterday. Someone sent me a message saying, "Hey, will you vote for me? I'm hosting something." And I was like, first of all, I wouldn't vote for you because you're a weasel, even though I'm nice to you. But second of all, you got hacked. Anyway, subscribe, like, right along. Always remember when it comes to this Texan stuff.
Guess I don't get to host that award show I really wanted to host.
It wasn't you.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Take care of them colds.